that Melee will always be at the core of the Dead Island franchise. There's, nothing more satisfying than sitting there with your, upgraded samurai sword, slicing off heads, cutting off limbs. But, we know that the firearms experience had a lot that we could do to beef it up, to boost it, and we really have explored that a lot more in Dead Island Riptide. The first thing we've done is really fundamentally looked at the ballistics and the targeting system in the game. We've made it a lot more easy to target and with pinpoint accuracy where you want to go, where your shots are going to go. We've added more damage zones and things like that to the bodies of the zombies, made it easier to figure out how that damage is going to affect that creature and stack. We've also added a lot more firearm selection, a lot more ammo to the game, lots more weapon mods for firearms, and we're hoping that it's going to be something that is really a more core element of the game, as opposed to kind of the end game sort of luxury premium thing that it became when you would really max out your character and you were at the end of the first Dead Island. We hope that players won't have to quite be searching for that last bullet quite as much anymore. I think it's obviously very important for us to expand our market reach and get the franchise out to new people. We're hoping that players who maybe didn't try the first game will be excited to see the way that some of the new features like dynamic weather and all these things can really offer some new stuff and new side to the gameplay. We're also hoping that the increased range of settings and things like that will also be popular, and the new zombie types. But we're also really a lot of what we're doing here is really delivering on promises to our fans from the first game as well. The biggest thing we've done to work our way toward that is the character import feature, being able to import your original character from the first game. That's something that people had really been hopeful for, and we're excited to hear that we were including. So while we definitely want to find new fans in this series with a lot of the new features that we're adding, we're also hoping that we'll be able to bring a lot of our fans back with some of the improvements we've made. One important thing about the weapons in Dead Island was that sometimes you'd end up with this, amazing endgame weapon, like your, super tricked out, car engine sledgehammer thing that sets all the enemies on fire. You would have worked hours and hours to get it, only to find out that you get like 2 hits with it, and then it's like useless because its durability is run out. And to address that, we've added this weapon proficiency system in the game, so that now when you fight with your favorite class of weapons, you'll actually be able to get bonuses and expand things like the durability of those weapons. So if you're a hardcore blunt weapons fighter and you keep sitting there hacking away with your baseball bats and stuff like that, over time you're going to get bonuses to your durability there. So we're hoping that players can feel more of a sense of permanence to the weapons that they've taken so much time to develop. It's so important to us that we can have we can deliver the best online multiplayer experience possible. And, we found that at a certain point, the openness of the levels eventually drove groups apart, where they're kind of sitting there like, I'm going to just run off on my direction and find some weapons over here, and I'm going to go over here. And so I think that we had to, at a certain point, kind of make the decision of, okay, we need some guidance in the levels. We still want them to be as open as possible, but find a way for these people to find paths that they can figure out and communicate on as a group. So that was definitely one of the big limits that we ran up against. There are also, certain things like being able to really expand the skill trees to, the point of like crazy superpowers and stuff like that. Of course, we went a little more over the top in Dead Island Riptide than we did before, and we're sort of celebrating these crazy kills with things like John Morgan has this big running kick that knocks the enemies way back. But of course, there's always a limit to that, and we didn't want to go totally, fantasy and crazy with that either.